What are you wearing together?
I don't have a clue.
You wearing a long
All right, here we go, y'all.
Your real life. Here's your host, Tanya White.
This song is dedicated to the family of our beautiful sister, Breonna Taylor, and also to the families of every person that has lost a loved one or a friend to police brutality. Now, back home in Louisville, there's a chant that we got down in Injustice Square, and we want you to sing it all over the world. Come on, Daria. Say her name. Say her name. Can you say? Let me hear you say. What's her name? Can you tell me? I wanna know what it is. Hey, no peace, no we can't do this every day. No, take it back. Her name. Say her name. Can you say it louder? I can't hear you say. Can you tell me? I wanna know what it is. Please tell me. We're on the can you tell me what's her name? Can you tell me what's her name? Breonna Taylor, they took our people. Oh, what's her name? Breonna Taylor. Persecution police, no justice, no peace. Come on, say it again. No justice. You. No matter how dark it gets, no matter how cloudy it gets, we are resilient people. Injustice is coming. Never give up. Hold on, say her name. I know you know what it is. They saying it everywhere. They took our people. They took our people. She belongs to us. She belongs to us. Say her name. Oh, say her name.
All right. Welcome to the Real Talk with Tanya White show. You better keep saying her name, Breonna Taylor. And we're going to have some real talk today about the recent exposure of the law enforcement lies that are going on. In addition to the Russell Community Revitalization and Russell Homecoming Community Weekend, I am your host, Tanya White, and welcome to week 2. Last week was our launch. Thank you all for listening and those who listened to the Facebook Live and viewed it. And thank you for all the great feedback. So today we're going to continue the fun. Real Talk with Tanya White is a lifestyle enhancement show. We're going to always give you real talk about real issues to enhance your real life. And so today we're talking about Breonna Taylor, the law enforcement. Last week is some things that came to light that a lot of people already knew, but it came to light, and we're going to talk about it. So get ready to call 571-1240 to share your opinions. But I have two wonderful ladies in the studio today. Who gonna have some real talk. They real people. And first of all, I'm going to introduce Kimberly Denise Moore to the show. Welcome, Kimberly Denise.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, she's trying to be out proper. Kimberly Denise, welcome to the show. Tell us who you are in like 30 seconds.
So my name's Kimberly Moore, and I'm the CEO of Joshua Community Connectors, and we're based at 2120 West Chestnut, and we're focused on mental health and housing.
And yes, those in the community who know Kimberly Denise Moore know that she is real. She gets the job done, and she makes connections. And then my second guest, she's not a guest because she's been in my life all my life. She's the second sister of the English clan. My mother was the oldest, and didn't Mama make that?
She made that perfectly clear.
Perfectly clear,
yes.
But Mama is in heaven now. So Jackie Floyd, I knew her as Jackie English first. Y'all know as Jackie Floyd, Miss Jackie, whatever y'all call her in the community. I call her my aunt. And so she's here to give us some real talk. Welcome to the show, Jackie.
Thank you. I'm going to call you Tanya, not
Now,
T.
you call me T. Listen, because I ain't going to know who you talk to if you call me T.
Thank you, T. Thank you. Thank you.
T's my nickname. But we're going to have some real talk about the Breonna Taylor case in the Russell community in just a few minutes. But I've got to give some announcements, and we're going to have our Get Lit segment that is honoring local authors. Last week, we honored two authors, Mary Shekels and Trinette Smith. This week, we have my soror, Jen Spalding, who has a new book out. It came out in August called The Adventures of Lily. It Stinks. A Christmas Story. It is a children's book. So if you're looking for some great reads, especially my Jefferson County Public School educators, Jen Spalding is a retired educator as well. And so you need to get her book, The Adventures of Lily. It Stinks, A Christmas Story. It is available on Amazon.com. And she has a host of other books, but this is her new one. So get it, read it, and share it with others. Also, there's a lot going on nationally and locally. We're going to talk about the local good things and the not so good things. But first, nationally, last week, Queen Elizabeth passed. And whether you like the politics or not, death is death. And so we're going to continue to pray for the royal family, especially Prince. No, now he's King Charles. King Charles.
The third.
Because not only is he burying his mom, he has to handle the business of the royal family and all that. So I know it's a lot. And so we continue to pray for them. And then also the good thing, last night, Primetime Emmy Awards. I'm a TV person, and it was Black Girl Magic last night.
Oh, was it? I didn't watch it.
Yes, if you watched TV, I'm a TV buff. And Quinta Brunson, the creator of the new show Abbott Elementary, it's about an elementary school, and I love it because I'm a former educator. And that show is real. It has a comedic side, but every episode is real. I've been every educator in that show. But she won an Emmy for writing, which is amazing for a young African-American writer for her first network TV show. Quinta Brunson, the creator of Abbott Elementary, won. And then the lady herself, the original Dream Girl, Cheryl Lee Ralph, won an Emmy for supporting a lead actress in a TV show. So that was long overdue. I knew her as Moesha's stepmom, but she was the original Dream Girl. So congratulations to Cheryl Lee Ralph and Quinta Brunson, Black Girl Magic, and all the winners last night on the Primetime Emmy. Locally, we got a lot going on. Not only the Russell Homecoming weekend. Y'all got multiple things happening this week.
Yes, we start on Thursday at Deja Barber, a meet and greet. Then on Friday night, we have Russell Got Soul Gala at LCC. And
y'all need a singer.
We having disc jockeys there. And
y'all see she ain't answering me, Vinny.
And then on Saturday morning, There are 4 tours going on, 2 by trolley. I am leading one. It starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. We will be touring the historical Russell community, and I will tell you about Albert Mazik, how he lived at 17th and Chestnut, and he was one of the creators of the Western Branch Library, the first African-American library in the United States that had full service for blacks.
I wonder if they are talking about him at Mazik Middle School.
I don't know.
They should.
And then later, our block party start at 3 p.m., 3 to 8. We're going to have food. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have community-based organizations. We're going to have music. We just want, and that day...
Again, do you need a singer?
When we have the talent show next year, we'll let you come and sing, okay?
Okay.
And what it is that to me, that day for the Russell community and other people, that's a day that when you sign in to the block party, you leave your stress there. You don't have to worry about LG&E, the water bill, or what's going on. You walk into that, and the only requirement is that you have a fun day with your neighbors, with your children, and just relax and have a good time.
Fun, free,
and then,
food.
Thank you. And then on Sunday, we're doing a church pop-up at Hewlett Temple at 2115 West Jefferson Street. We will be providing refreshments, and we'll also be telling them about Russell, A Place of Promise.
Oh, wow.
And then that night at Joe's Palm Room, we will have Russell Speaks.
Yes, a storytelling event. Now, are y'all going to have spoken word artists?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to have some residents talking about their experiences in Russell, because we have residents that have lived in Russell 35 years, 40 years. Yeah.
We're going to talk more about that later on in the show. But Russell Homecoming Weekend, it's free. It's food. Everything's going on. Yes. And I'm gonna sing. I'm just gonna pop up and sing a song.
Now, if you come on Friday night, be sure to wear your 70s outfit.
70s,
yes, your
70s
Afro
party.
wig, your hot pants with your white boots, or your platform
Now Friday
shoes.
is a ticket event.
Yes.
Okay.
And the tickets are $50 in advance and $60 at the door.
It goes for a good cause.
Yes.
The Russell community at the Louisville Central Community Center. Celebrate the soul of the Russell neighborhood. All right, that's Russell Homecoming Weekend. We're going to get deeper into that. But also Legacy Week is occurring. Jasmine Presley of the Presley Post is having something. It started yesterday, the 12th. Every day this week, she's having something at her location, 734 West Main Street, Suite 106. All of that is on Facebook. Follow the Presley Post or Jasmine Presley, and you can see what's going on there. But a lot of things going on in Louisville, not only this week, but a lot in September, October, and I even got events in November. So stay abreast of that. If you're not on social media, listen to WLLV. I'm pretty sure they're going to make some announcements about that. But welcome. If you're just tuned in, this is the Real Talk with Tanya White show. I'm your host, Tanya White, and we're going to talk about some real talk about the Breonna Taylor case, the law enforcement lies that are coming to light. They just didn't come to light last week, but they've been coming to light for a while. And but last week was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Because they actually admitted that, everything was on those documents were false. And so we're going to talk about that right now. I want you all to, and this is going to be a conversation for the next 12 to 15 minutes. And if you have anything to share about what is going on in that case, please call 571-1240 and we're going to take your calls. But Kimberly, I got to call Kimberly. I was going to call you Kim. What are your thoughts on basically what is being revealed?
First of all, it's very disheartening because I've been part of an initiative with LMPD since 2005. And so I've supported the police publicly. And then and everybody knows it, but then when the things start to come out, you can no longer stand when you know things have not been done right. And Breonna Taylor should have never lost her life. Early on in the process, while the protest was going on, a lot of people said I didn't protest. And I said I protested intellectually. I was putting people in housing. I was buying food.
Yes.
And I was still paying rent while the protest was going on. and I was watching the whole situation, closely. I was on the civilian review board that the mayor formed, and I always knew it was a backstory. Stuff like that don't just happen. I mean, I was sitting at home and my friend went live who lived in the complex, and so you sitting there in your pajamas like, well, what's really, really going on? And I didn't speak out a lot about it because I wanted to watch the process take place. And so when watched all these different police chiefs get, and then Yvette Gentry did what no others have done. Yeah. She fired those officers, and
she was a black woman, black girl magic.
She's a black woman, and she's my friend, my mentor, and she did something that the powers that be would not do. And so as I watched that, and then I watched Chief Shields come from Atlanta while it's burning, and come to Louisville, and as an African American woman, I told the mayor we felt like they poured salt in our wounds because she left Atlanta when it was burning.
Yes.
And today I still am part of an initiative with LMPD, and I've been, very verbal about my concerns. And so I try to work on reconciliation within the community regarding the police. But I'm telling you, every time I get the community to a good place, or the people I'm close to a good place, LMPD does something else. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I just want to fall out. So now, I watch this Fed case with great anticipation, and people are going to get exactly what they're supposed to get. And so I don't think it's going to be any walking away with probation in these Fed cases, because when the Department of Justice came in and, they started overturning rocks and stuff because, people were throwing rocks and hiding their hands, and they knew exactly what was happening. But when he made that announcement, it was a great day for the city of Louisville, and I'm sure it was an amazing day for Breonna Taylor's mother to get some closure.
Absolutely.
Not really closure, because, I have children. Yes. I can't imagine losing a child, but to be able to say justice is finally happening. And so listening to that song, no justice, no peace, prosecute the police.
Absolutely.
And people wrote that song 1.5, 2 years ago, and they're finally getting to see people be prosecuted for what was a very egregious act.
Very egregious.
And one of the things I said, and I'll close, is, Mary Shaw was the judge that signed the warrant. And I have a very good relationship with Mary Shaw. And you know what she was guilty of? Doing what all judges were doing prior to Breonna Taylor. The police bring you a warrant, you sign it simply because you trust their word.
Yes.
Now, people read warrants.
Trust their word, of course, because the police force is here to protect and serve. And my concern is the blatant lies, the blatant falsities of a system who is designed to protect and serve. And like you said, hiding their hand when things come to light. Now, Jackie Floyd, you are very listen, Jackie Floyd has always been vocal in the family. In our family, when you wanted something handled, we called Jackie. And
we
so
still call Jackie.
I know now, y'all, the whole community is getting that, but the English family got it at 2203 West Kentucky all our life. So you've been very vocal about the systematic, how can I put this lightly, systematic barriers and, I can't put it lightly, lies that occur in our community. Why did it take the feds to come in here and say something's not right, and then our own city, when people were saying something's not right, they just covered it up?
I think that the powers at be, they knew that it wasn't right. And let me get this out, because I haven't really spoken out about the Breonna Taylor case, the murder, and I'm not going to call it a case. I call it what it is. It was a murder. Yeah. I think from Mary Shaw on down, that signed the warrant, the policeman that lied to get the warrant, blatantly lied. I think they all should be charged with murder because they played a part in Breonna Taylor's murder. I think they all should be charged. I don't give, and as a black mother in the community, it's really terrifying that you're in your own home.
Yes.
And somebody will kick in the door and just start shooting. Because I know
endlessly shooting.
My father, if somebody had kicked in that door, Willie English, he was going to start shooting. Because the bottom line is black men protect their families at all costs.
Yeah.
And so when Kenneth Walker started shooting, he was protecting his household. That's his. And if you can't be safe in your own house, where can you be safe at?
Where can you be safe at? If you're just tuning in to the Real Talk with Tanya White show, we're giving real talk about the law enforcement lies that are starting to be revealed. A lot of people knew when the case first happened 2 years ago. It was, and it's no accident that all that occurred the day that the world shut down, because I believe God is very strategic. He gave us time to really focus on that as a community, listen to everything, mobilize, and really do some things during a time where the world was shutting down, but we were rising up because of what happened. And that happened not far from where I lived. And so, like you said, Jackie, when people invade your house, your innate instinct is to protect. Like it should have been for the police to protect and serve and get everything right. But we now finding out blatantly lied for their own selfish gain.
And wait a minute, I just want to interrupt you. When we say the police are there to protect and serve, we got to question who.
Yeah. Yes.
Who are there, and when they say justice, are they talking about us? Are they talking about the whole community? Are they talking about a segment of the community? So we got to be clear on when people say things. We got to be clear on what the message is.
Yes.
Okay.
So true. And so Jackie knows how I grew up. I call it bougie. Very much bougie. And so when I take things at face value, okay? And so my daddy taught me certain things. When people are supposed to protect you, they're supposed to protect you, and regardless of color. But as I grew up, and now I'm in my 50s, and I'm really seeing some of the systematic obstacles and things that are going on. I love what you said, Jackie. Who are they? They're designed to protect and serve. There are some segments and some groups that, in general, we say protect and serve, but in certain organizations, it's exclusive. So if you just join, it's Real Talk with Tanya White. Kimberly, do you have any follow-up about that? Because I want to say you are very much the proponent of having a balanced viewpoint of things that are going on. You celebrate the good, and then you bring truth to what is not so good. So,
well, I've been, supportive of the police, and I've took a lot of heat for it.
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to say is, I always had a belief in LMPD, and I still do to a certain point, because I know good officers.
Yes.
And I try not to focus on, the bad ones. But those people that murdered Breonna Taylor need to go to federal prison for a very, very long time. So I used to watch the police pull people over and kind of drive on past. And so now I catch myself when they got young black boys pulled over for an extended period of time. Like if I'm going down Broadway and I come back up Broadway and they still got them pulled over, I'm pulling over asking,
yes,
what are you detaining them for? Do you have probable cause to search their car? I find myself asking those questions because my trust is no longer there like it used to be with certain officers. And so when, I work with young black men every day. And so when they tell me they're afraid of the police, I used to say, you don't have to be. Now I say, I fully understand.
I fully
understand. And I'll close with this. We're talking about all these young boys in this community carrying guns. And, there are some bad people with guns, but there are some young kids that I know that are straight A students to go to good schools that have guns simply because they are truly afraid.
Truly
afraid for their life. I was at Fern Creek yesterday, and I'll say this and I'll close, and a kid called me Sunday and said, I think I'm going to die. And I'm just really trying to go to school and do the right thing. What do you say to a kid who says that? You know what I do? I rally around with the counselors and get a group of people together, and we go to the school to talk to him to help him process his anxiety about being a black kid
Absolutely.
in Louisville, Kentucky right now.
In Louisville, Kentucky.
And we shouldn't have to do that. When I was 16, I just went to school.
I
played sports. People had to fight. People went home. Now people are dying based on words. So I always tell people, I challenge them to be careful with their words.
Yes.
Never know who's listening.
Yes, and Kim, you said something so powerful. As a former educator and former school counselor, when I started 20 years ago, yes, this was on the uprise, but now it's like daily. And so you talk about the anxiety that, and it's not just high school. I was in elementary, and elementary students can't articulate what they're feeling, so they act it out in behavior. And so one of the things that I was always an advocate for, don't punish the behavior. Bring them to me, because I'm going to process what's really going on. They're going to tell me, and then I'm going to relate it to the powers that be. But we have to be patient, because our children, black, white, even Hispanic, the Africans, they're living in a state of anxiety right now.
And one of the things that you said is, like, I tell young people, don't ask them why they acting like that. Ask them what happened.
What's really going on?
Because something really happened. And, one of the things I'll say, I never, ever thought I needed a gun. I've never thought about it until recently. And, I was with a lieutenant yesterday from LMPD, and he was like, have you ever thought about having a gun? I'm like, yeah. And then I'm thinking about the work. And so Miss Jackie will tell you, this work is more dangerous for me than it's ever been.
I can imagine.
And, nobody's ever tried to do anything yet. But, I live alone. And so, I'm struggling with, do I need a gun?
Right.
I think that, too, that our young black males, and I like to call them that because I don't like the word boy.
Yeah.
I just don't use the boy. I call them young black males. They have, they are pulled over because driving while black. They are stopped while walking while black. So if they can't be safe, and I'm looking at this, if they can't be safe on the street, walking down the street, if they can't be safe in school or walking to the bus stop, as a society, we are failing our young black males. And Representative Scott always tells me, Jackie, don't read the comments on Facebook, but I do. But what I see, people have a tendency to want to blame, to blame the parents on what's going on in the community. And that's easy, because then by blaming the parents as a society, we do not have to take responsibility for what's going on. We expect our parents to be there to guide their children, and parents want to be. But when the minimum wage hasn't been raised in over a decade, and people have to work 2 and 3 jobs, how can you be there for your children? Because I do know that with daycare being so high, that oldest child, when they reach 12 or 13, the parents are going to pull them out to save money so money can go elsewhere. So we have to look at all these things.
All the components.
And as you talk about trust with the police, I know they're good officers. In fact, I'm on the 1st District Police Advisory Board. But the bottom line is, in order to trust somebody, they have to be trustworthy. Okay?
And it only takes one to spoil the whole perception of things going on. And going back to what you're saying, our children feeling safe, walking to school and at home. I was one of those. I was an advocate. These kids are going to feel safe in school, because like the law enforcement, sometimes schools can track our young African American, and I'm not just going to say males, females too, and make them not feel comfortable, not make them feel as though they belong in the building. And so children know who are with them and who are against them. And so our little black and brown students can do one thing and get referrals and start that process. And their counterpart, they can do the same thing multiple times and not get anything. Children see that. And so it does start in the school system. And so they have anxiety walking to school. They have anxiety at home. And most of them have anxiety while they're sitting in that classroom. But it takes educators to speak up and stand up and say, hey, this is not going to happen. What is going on? Come here and let me talk to you. What's really going on? And that takes building the trust in the relationship. And they have to know that what they say is They're not going to be judged. They're not going to be reprimanded for, but it's a safe space. So if you just joined us, we're having some real talk about the Breonna Taylor law enforcement lies that are coming up, and we're going to wrap up. So I wanted to quote, I saw on an article, and Hannah Drake, never met her, but I love her impact. She said, this is one thing that stood out to me, what she said. She said, how come nobody has said, we got this wrong and we apologize? And let's close with that. Why is it so hard for the system and the powers that be to say, hey, we did something wrong? Even though they can't bring our sister back, we're going to make changes. Why is it so hard for the powers that be, especially in this city, to admit wrong and to make the corrections?
Because if I admit that I was wrong, I have to admit that I made a mistake. And one of the things I say about the leadership in this community, in the African American community and the white community, is we have people in leadership that will sink the whole ship because they cannot be the captain.
Woo!
And they will not take ownership. We have leaders in this community that have to take some ownership about the things that are happening in our community. I'll say this and I'll be quiet and jump off my soapbox, but we were talking last night, I was way out in the county in a privileged neighborhood, and they're saying, why are these boys selling drugs? I said, just like your husband's a lawyer, just like your son's a lawyer, just like you probably hope your grandson be a lawyer, we are third generation drug dealers. And so nobody has stepped out of the box to show them how to do something different. And I think that's what I love about Miss Jackie. I'm in my 24th year of sobriety. Miss Jackie was working at the healing place when I was my craziest, when I was getting sober. And people ask me why I do this work. I do this work because 25 years ago, my children had a village. And I promised God I would be a village for other people's kids because my son is 38. He's not a convicted felon.
Yes.
And my daughters went to college, not because of me.
Yes.
Because of the village. And so in order for our community to change, we have to go back to the village mentality.
Yes.
Like Miss Jackie still confront people's kids. I mean, because she got that kind of respect.
Because she's Jackie.
Everybody can't say nothing to people's kids, but we have to talk about what it's like when mom's on Section 8, dad's in prison, 4 or 5 siblings. And I told the mayor this, and I'll say this everywhere. We got 2 kind of drug dealers in this city. We got the ones that want to wear $500 shoes and $1,000 jeans. And then we got little Johnny who's just selling a little bit of weed or a little bit of dope to feed his siblings.
That's real right there.
Because people are missing in his life that was supposed to be in his life. Yeah. So as a community, we have got to bear some responsibility.
And I agree with you, but I want to get back to what you said about Hannah Drake. Why can't we admit our powers to be to admit they're wrong? Because if you admit that we did wrong, you've got to change.
Woo,
we expect change.
Yes.
Okay. And why should our powers that be admit they're wrong when it's not their loved ones? Okay. A couple of years ago, I was at an event and I was talking to this white officer, and he was just saying, well, why don't when our black males are stopped, why don't they just comply and wait till they get to court? And I'm looking at him because I have sons.
Yes.
I have grandsons. And I know that when they're stopped by the police, it's 50-50. Okay? Because I tell my sons, when you're stopped by the police, yes, sir, them to death, but there's still that 50% chance they might end up dead, hurt, or in jail because that policeman had a bad day or the mentality. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against the police. What I am against is my child, other people's child, males of color are being tried on the street and not being able to get to court.
Yes.
Okay, and that's, the bottom line is until people can admit they're wrong, it's not going to change. And I got to put this, and I'm going to get off my soapbox. Every time there's an incident with the police regarding a black male, our powers that be come out where we're going to change policy. And my thing is, we've got policy. If you follow the policies that you already have, you wouldn't have to continue to create new policies that you're not going to follow in the first place. So my thing is, let's stick with the policies that that is going on now.
Yes.
The policy that you have now meets our needs. Don't every time we have an incident with a black resident of the community, you want to get on TV and say, we are creating new policies because we're going to do this. Yeah, reforms. When the policies are already there and all you got to do is follow the policies.
All you got to do is follow the policies.
Yeah, and one of the things I'll say is there could be no, like when Hannah talked about truth, there could be no reconciliation until a truthful conversation is had. And we have been unwilling to have a truthful conversation. And Miss Jackie will tell you I love Mayor Fisher. You know, I'm cool with him today, but he made some mistakes. But there could be no reconciliation until we have a truthful conversation. And I am so concerned about the lives of black males. Is I went to some lawyers and I said, look, I got young black men going to prison simply because they poor and black. Can I call you when one of them get a case where I think they're going to be railroaded? And I got lawyers who represent black boys, black men for free. Because here's what they said. I've made money. Right. Now I want to make a difference. Yes. And they know that some of our kids, little Johnny from Polo Fields catch a case, and little Johnny from 44 from Market, who's poor, catch the same case, and poor little Johnny's going to prison.
Poor little Johnny's going to prison.
Other little Johnny's going home.
And that pipeline started where? In the school system.
In the school system. Prison to the pipeline.
Listen, I got so much to say. We're going to continue this conversation, but we're going to make a transition because we want to talk about Russell and what y'all doing in the Russell community. But I love what you just said, Kimberly Denise Moore. There can be no reconciliation until there's real truth. And so you just joined. If you just joined, it's Real Talk with Tanya White. We're going to take a music break, and then we're going to come back and talk about Russell Homecoming Weekend. All right. We're going to continue this because I need shields on my show. I got some questions.
What'd you say?
I need shields on my show.
Don't you know,
Chief Shields? You know, I think she will. Maybe I should ask her. I think she will because, so I'm part of GVI, which is the Gun Violence Initiative. Something. Listen, Miss Jackie.
They got with that. They have CBOs and they have the police and stuff like that. They don't have.
Can y'all hear us? Oh.
He said yes.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us through there? Okay.
Well, you can't hear us. So what it is?
So cut it.
I don't even know what to say. What did you say?
Oh, you can't hear us, can you?
No.
Okay.
What it is, if this is impacting my community, impacting me, why you got other people, the experts, saying what's going on in my community and what needs to be done? Because if you keep telling me how you're going to change my community, I don't have to take responsibility for what's going on in my community. And this is what I told the director, I told the mayor, I told Kim, that the bottom line is we need to have citizens on there. Kim has said it was dangerous. Heck, it's dangerous living in my community, okay? And I'm not, it's dangerous living in the city of Louisville.
Yes.
Okay?
No matter where you live.
Right. So my thing is, give me an opportunity to be on this committee so I can take responsibility of what's going on in my community. Because as long as you don't involve me with what's going on in my community about making change.
Because, I took some heat because I live over in Indiana, and I'm kind of like, I'm in my office over here 12 to 14 hours a day. I sleep in Indiana. Yeah. I'm always over here. And I just moved, so you telling me I don't have a voice? I've been in Russell 25 years.
No, but see, you have a voice, but here is the thing, okay? I'm not saying that you don't love Russell, you don't love the community.
But I don't live there.
But you don't live there. And I'm there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I walk out my door because whenever you get ready to go home over to Indiana, you can do it. I can't do
peace
that.
And quiet.
I can't do that. And who knows my community better than me?
We're running neck and neck now.
So it's
you need to get them on here to talk about GVI. I think that would the group violence intervention. You need to. I'll see Shields. I'll see him Friday, and I'm gonna say, call Tanya White. She wants you.
Tanya White will be calling you.
I'll email her.
Yeah.
And tell her it's on the show.
Yeah, because she emailed me. After
All right.
After I chased her down.
All right, get up, stand up for your rights. All your rights. Listen, you just joined Real Talk with Tanya White. I'm your host, Tanya White, and we're having some great conversation about Real Talk. We just finished Real Talk about the Breonna Taylor law enforcement lies that are coming to light. I know my parents used to say what's done in the dark would always come to light, and that is what's happening. But now we're going to transition, because one of the great things that's happening this weekend is Russell Homecoming Weekend. And I don't know about you guys, but Russell is is one of the up and coming neighborhoods that people are really looking at. And we have two people on here, Jackie Floyd, that has always lived in the Russell community. I think I saw an article said she's been living there since 1990. Nope, Jackie is, she's my aunt. So I remember her first apartment in Village West before it was called Russell. She lived in Village West, and that was the place all the cousins went to. So she's been living in this community longer than that. And before Russell, she lived at 2203 West Kentucky, the English Victory Park. So she is no stranger to neighborhoods that have struggles and barriers. But she's always been a neighborhood advocate, and I've known her as a family advocate. Like I said, when things went down in the family, we said, "Where's Jackie?" Because she gonna handle it. And then we have Kimberly Denise Moore. She is part of the Joshua, say it again, Kimberly.
Joshua Community Connectors.
That is located in the Russell community. So welcome once again. We're going to switch gears and talk about Russell. So Kimberly, let me start with you. Tell us your exact role that you play at Joshua, and that's in the Russell community.
So I'm the CEO of Joshua Community Connectors. As a former Metro employee, I had helped write out a program called Reimage for 16 to 24-year-olds in 2015 for Metro government. Was able to do that work through Anthony Smith and not write it out, but go to work for it and implement it within the community. And what I saw was 25-year-old young men were getting out of jail, and the cutoff for financial help, housing, or any of that is 24. And so I was devastated, because if I'm working with a kid, he goes to prison 3 years, he gets out, he comes to see me, and I said, I can't help you. You're too old. So God convicted my spirit, and I said, if I can help build a program for Metro government,
right,
I could come back into this community and build a program for 25 to 35. And so that's what I did. So I do the day-to-day. When I leave here, I'm going to my office. We have Section 8 vouchers because the city believed in our work. We have partners with Goodwill and Creative Spirits and Total Life Counseling and Levitate. And so I just want to say that mental health is real in this community, and trauma is too. And we have to make it okay to not be okay.
Okay to not be okay. And I love that you say you have partnerships with Creative Spirits. Cassandra Gray, who is my soror, but before she was my soror, she was a very powerful voice in the mental health community.
Still is.
And so, she still is. So she was one of the trailblazers. So I'm glad to see that you all have those partnerships. So Russell is one of the poorest communities in our city.
Okay.
In the zip code.
I like to say, because words matter.
Yes.
I like to say,
according to the date. Okay.
Yeah, according to Jackie Floyd's data, is that there are people in Russell that are financially challenged due to the circumstances of not raising the minimum wage, or the educational system that they have concerns with, the problems with. But the bottom line is, because when people say poor, I want to know what you're talking about. When you say poor, you're saying poor in spirit?
No.
Poor in what? Because financially challenged is different from being poor.
Financially challenged. See, this is why I love people who change the narratives. Financially challenged. Because I worked in the school system in one of those schools in the Russell community. And that's all we heard. The poorest community. So I'm going to start seeing financially challenged.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things I wanted to say. When you look at not only the businesses that are that the Russell community has access to. When I look, and there's no grocery store, just simple things. Give me some. We're going to talk about the jewels, but tell me 2 or 3 things that are really needed to make the Russell community more equitable, like other communities. Because when you go out to other communities, there's grocery stores, restaurants, businesses, corporations all throughout there. So tell me, Jackie Floyd.
Okay, let me tell you about this great organization. And Kim, I'm not knocking your organization. I know that you are great too. But Russell Place of Promise,
yes,
we are a great organization because we partner with the residents on building Black wealth. We didn't come into the community saying, okay, we're going to do this and this and stuff like that. We came into the community and said we want to create a partnership, and we want the residents to tell us how they want to build Black wealth for themselves, for their families, and for the community.
Yes.
So as the lead community outreach specialist for Russell Place of Promise, the team and I, we're out in the community and we're meeting the residents. And the great thing about my team members are we do more listening than talking, because who knows more about what they need and the community needs than the residents of the community. And I just want to inject too. I am a proud Russell resident. I'm a proud Russell resident. And most of us that live in Russell, we're in Russell because we choose to, not because we have to. We're in Russell because we choose to live in Russell.
Yes.
And getting back to Russell Place of Promise, which is our pop, we work with the residents. We partner with the residents about how do you want to build Black wealth for you, yourself, and your family, and the community.
So what are some of the programs that RPOP has? Because I love that you get the input from the residents, their voice. And so when you have their voice, you're going to get going back to the truth, you're going to get the truth of what they need. So give me some things that RPOP is doing.
And one of my favorite things is our voice, our choice, our community.
Yes.
And that's how we operate with Russell Place of Promise. We have right now, we don't provide direct services, but what we do is, and before I lose it, we work with business owners, we work with,
partnerships.
Okay, let me get this together because I get so excited when I start talking about Russell and Russell Place of Promise. I have to slow it down, okay? What we do, we ask the residents, how do you want to build wealth for yourself? Is it through home ownership, or is it through business creation or retention, or do you want to increase your income through workforce development? And what we do, we refer them, we give them the resources, the information about the resources that are available to them to reach their goals, whether, like I said, through home ownership, through business, creating a business for themselves, or increasing their salary.
Okay.
And that's what we do. And we do it, and we also we work with Kim, because she left us out.
Collaboration.
Yes, we're a partner with them. She just left us out, but I'm not
Kimberly.
I'm not gonna hold that against her. Okay. Yes, you didn't say Russell. We're partners with Russell Place of Promise.
Excuse me for the listening audience.
It's a
Russell
real talk.
Place of Promise has been very instrumental in my journey. Miss Jackie works for Anthony Smith, who was very instrumental in me getting into this work. And so one of the things I said about Russell is people in Russell work together. And it's, for me, it's the most resilient community in Jefferson County. And we take what people want and try to give them what they want and what they need. And so we ask them. And so if you're paying attention to Louisville right now, everybody's trying to buy a property in Russell because Russell's up and coming and people know it.
Yes.
And people know it. And so, Donnie Atkins, Butch Mosby, they're doing some good stuff within the community with affordable housing, Urban League, Russell Place of Promise, Creative Spirits, Goodwill. We're all working together to improve the quality of life. But I'll tell you what, no community in this city has an advocate like Russell has and Miss Jackie.
Yes.
And you say something bad about Russell, and Miss Jackie she said me, she still want to fight. She still want to fight.
Let me tell you something. I told you she's my auntie, right?
Yes.
So I call her the neighborhood advocate. She got a fighting spirit. Listen. And she does, because she's passionate about people, first of all. Family, and Russell and the community is her family. But I love what you said, Kimberly. Russell is an up-and-coming community. I read somewhere also that they are equating Russell like Harlem in New York.
And so, matter of fact, with Soliday O'Brien, they came here. Miss Jackie was.
Yes.
They came here to do a story on Russell.
Okay.
the re-emerging renaissance of Russell.
Yes.
Because I could tell you 5 years from now, Russell's going to be the place to be.
Absolutely.
And everybody knows that.
Russell's always been the place to be. Because when you look at the residents of Russell, they are resilient. They create a safe environment for their children. They walk their children to school.
Yes.
When my grandson was going to Courage Taylor, I used to pick him up in the afternoon. It was this man, he would ride a bicycle to pick up his child. And his child come out of school, his little girl would come out of school, run to him and everything. And he would say, baby girl, how was your day?
Yes.
And him, his daughter, and the bicycle would be just walking alone. And he would be interacting with his child. So the residents of Russell, they care about their community. And that was more, during the pandemic, if I knew about the resources, my neighbor downstairs knew about the resources. If there was food to be given out and people didn't have food, we told them where to go. And we even took the food. Russell Place of Promise during that time.
Yes.
They worked ag in the city, and they were giving away boxes of food.
Yes.
Fresh vegetables.
There are a lot of resources too, and y'all share those resources within the community. I see on social media more things that happen in Russell because y'all share the information than I do in other neighborhoods in the city. But one thing I do love about Russell, I'm an artsy type of person, literary arts, but I love the visual arts. And when I come through the city, I see all this magnificent visual art that is going up and being like a staple where you want to come and say, hey, who drew the newest mural? Where did that spark come from for say, okay, this is our community and we want to showcase everything that's going on?
Well, when Vision Russell happened in Trust Neighborhoods, they got the grant. We also got action activity money. So that's the murals are part of that. But one thing too, as you know, I always run my mouth when they were talking about murals, and they were talking about. I distinctly told the committee, I do not want to see another mural of Muhammad Ali. Love him; he's great and everything.
But there's more.
There's more, and I don't want to see another mural of Dr. Martin Luther King. I want to see murals of A.D. Porter going 4 generations strong.
There's been in that community.
I want to see a mirror of the late Lucille Luggett, or Sam Watkins, or Dr. Grace James, Lyman T. Johnson. I can keep going. Samuel Plato, Albert Mazik. We have people, May Street Kid. We have heroes in Russell, and we do not have to keep recycling the mirrors of Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali. And we can't, we expect our children to lead us, but they can't lead us if they don't know the history.
Absolutely.
So if you don't know,
great history,
right? And it's really great. That's just like Central High School.
Absolutely.
Big
up to Central, Emery, Janice White, and Sean.
Central High School has produced so many great leaders.
Yes.
And what people don't understand is that we have to acknowledge these leaders, because every day our kids hear negative messages about their race, the black community, the other side of 9th Street. And so the bottom line is that we have to keep lifting these heroes up in our community.
Yes, absolutely. If you just joined us, you're on the tail end of Real Talk with Tanya White. And we've had some real conversation, not only about the Russell community, but earlier in the show, Breonna Taylor. We got to wrap it up. This has been wonderful. Kimberly, Denise Moore, and Jackie Floyd. Jackie Floyd's my auntie, y'all. So if y'all mess with me, I'm going to call Jackie Floyd.
And so I just want to say one thing before we go off air. Miss Jackie was talking about Central, and so I'm really excited about Central. And so in 2002, my son was prom king at Central.
All right.
And so his son just started Central and started to play football. And so he was so excited when he went in, and some of the teachers are still there.
Yes.
Talking about his dad. So it's about legacy.
Legacy.
This whole community is about legacy. And if I could leave our listeners with anything, we can agree to disagree respectfully.
Yes.
We can agree to disagree respectfully, but in this community, there can be no reconciliation until it's truth.
Yes.
And if you're in leadership and it's about you, great leaders want to create other great leaders.
Say that again, Kimberly.
And if you're a great leader, you have to be a great follower.
Say that again, Kimberly Denise Moore.
Great leaders create other great leaders. And if you're a great leader, you're a great follower.
Yes.
And so what I see in this community, like I said earlier, is people in leadership, if they can't be the captain of the ship, they will sink the whole ship.
Sink it all.
And
the Titanic.
And cause harm in the whole community because they can't be in charge.
Oh, Lord. And that just filters into other organizations. And, you know, I'm a big proponent of the educational system. And that happens all the time. So, Jackie Floyd, closing remarks. And listen, I told you she's my auntie. And so the English family, we are, we go on and on and on. Listen, from Friday nights, you had 25 conversations between 10 people. And so 30 seconds, Jackie Floyd.
First, I want to, as you talk about the educational system, I want to give a shout out to Diane Porter, our District 1 representative. Diane Porter. I know that
legacy. You talking about legacy right there.
I can call her anytime. Yes. She will be honest what's going on, and she has every child's back in the West End Smoketown she represents. My 30 seconds. I love Russell.
Yes.
Russell is all of that.
Yes.
You cannot talk about Russell. Because Russell is my family. I would not allow you to talk negative about Russell. And please come out to Russell Place, a Promise homecoming weekend. We are going to have a good time.
Jazz it up on Main.
Especially on Thursday night, but on Friday night, please wear your Afro weaves, your platform shoes with the fishes going through there, and your hot pants. We are going to jam this weekend.
And then Saturday morning, jump on that trolley with Miss Jackie, because she's going to be making a stop at my office and other places in Russell to have legacy.
They have legacy. And you can visit www.russellpromise.com for all the events. Thank you, ladies. I'm going to definitely have y'all back because I know I like real talk. And so this is week 2. Vinny, how we do this week? We got the thumbs up from Vinny. He's my producer. Next week, we're going to talk about sustainable addiction. Not only recovering from drugs and alcohol, but food. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Our culture is addicted to food, not just the black culture, our entire society. So we're going to have Asia Ford on here. She used to be 500 pounds. Now she's under 200 and with no surgery. She's going to tell you how she changed her lifestyle, her mindset. And then we're going to have author David Hammond, one of our S&T publishing authors, and he's going to talk about his book, The Power That Changed Me, and how he changed from being one of a drug dealer until now a voice of hope and inspiration. So tune in next week. If I can leave you with anything that I took away from today, we cannot have true reconciliation until we have truthful conversation.
That's right.
And that's what Real Talk is about, truth, realness. And so you have a wonderful day, and we will see you next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Kick us out of here, Vinny.
Thank you.
Oh, that was fun.
Thank you. Look at Don watching. You better watch.
But you know what I was like?
Tim Finley, thank you for watching. Who else? Dwayne Payne. Gay.